All right, we're going to take a look now at the stomach massage series. Now, there are 4 variations. We have round, flat, arms up, twist, and then we're also going to do it with one leg. So, and the spring tension does change throughout the series. A lot of the classical work within the series, the spring tension remains the same, but however, on this one, it does change a little bit. So we're going to bring our foot bar down to the lower position, which is the bottom shelf. It's not down, but it is now in the low position, like this. Some foot bars don't have the option of changing its height, but if you do have the option, it's definitely something that you're going to want to lower it for. And you're going to want this non-slip pad. This definitely helps for a couple of reasons. Number one, it prevents the client from slipping, but also it provides a visual place marker where you want them to sit. No one ever wants to sit as close to the foot bar as you're going to want them to. So this gives them kind of a landmark where they should sit. So we're going to place this pretty close to the edge. I'm 5'10", so my femurs are a little longer. I can't go all the way to the edge and still sit comfortably or fit comfortably in front of the foot bar. So I'm going to move mine back just a little bit. Keep in mind people's leg length, their height, and their flexibility. That's all going to depend where you place this mat right here. So mine's going to go right there like that. And I'm going to go ahead and sit here like this. Now, I want 3 medium springs on your reformer. We're going to go from 3 mediums to 2 to 1, okay? And if you don't have 3 mediums, I know in a contemporary studio, I don't have 3 reds. I'm going to use 2 reds and 1 blue. So ideally, it would be 3 reds, which is 3 mediums. Okay, so from here, I'm going to bring my hands underneath the carriage right here like this, and I'm going to bring my feet up onto the foot bar. Now the balls of my feet are on, all 10 toes are on, and I have my feet in that first position, also known as Pilates V. So from here, I'm going to pull up with my fingers underneath the carriage. When I pull up with my fingers, I start to feel the armpits hollow, meaning the pecs and the lats are starting to work, and that armpit is lifting just a little bit with the serratus. So from here, I pull up. Now I want to create a giant capital C shape in my spine, and my head is going to be pointed down towards my pelvis. I want to maintain this awkward looking position the entire time. So all I'm going to do is open the carriage out, pause, lower and lift the heels, pause, and then bring it back in. We're just talking about the directional movement. One more time, lengthen the legs long, lifting away from the foot bar, pause, lower and lift those heels, and then bringing it back in. Let's talk about the breath. Now, I'm going to inhale, open the carriage, and I'm also going to pull up with those fingers to exaggerate that C shape in my spine, lower and lift the heels. Now, exhale, I'm going to deflate the abs, pull even more with those fingers to exaggerate that C shape even more. Inhale, lift away. Pause your breath as you lower and lift the ankles. Exhale, exaggerate that C shape by pulling up with your fingers and coming back in. Let's talk about the core. Now, as we open the carriage, I want you to lift from the pelvic floor. Lift yourself away from that foot bar. We're not using those legs. It's all about the core. Lower and lift. Now, exhale. Deflate your abs like you just got punched in the stomach as you come in. The more I pull up with my fingers, the more I deflate those abdominals. Inhale, lift away from the foot bar. Lifting up and in. Maintain that lift as you lower and lift. Exhale, deflate the abdominals. Pull up with your fingers and exaggerate that scoop. It's like you're getting punched in the stomach. And again, inhale, lift away. Maintain the lift as you lower and lift. Exhale, deflate the abs. Contract that core big time as you come back in. Now, that is the round back. Let's go to the flat back. So we're going to bring your hands onto your shoulder blocks. Now from here, you want to be able to open up that clavicle, lift from the pelvic floor. We're still going to work the core, but not in a flexed spine. We're going to work it in more of an extended spine here. So we're here like this. Open up those shoulders, press the heels of your hands inward and down. We're here. The ribs are not disconnected. They're still connected, but everything is now lifted this way. So just practicing the movement, we're going to open, pause, lower and lift, and then bring it back in. Now with the breath, inhale, lift away from the foot bar, lower and lift. Now exhale, contract the core, up and in. So you're zipping up and tightening as you come in. And again, inhale, lift away, pause, lower and lift. Exhale, contract the core. Imagine you're still cinching those ribs to your hips, but we're not folding forward. So this is still tightening. Lift away, lower and lift. Exhale, contract the core. So you almost want to imagine that as you exhale right here, you're narrowing that pelvis, tightening everything in like that into a smaller cylinder. All right, so now from here, we're gonna go to the reach, which is your hands off. We're gonna take one of those springs off. All right, so now we're gonna maintain that extended spine. We're gonna take away the lower and the lift. So we're just gonna practice inhale, opening, exhale, bringing it back in. Inhale, lift from that pelvic floor. Exhale, contract the core. Everything draws in and tightens without moving the head. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it back in. So the shoulders drop, the ribs drop, everything lifts. So everything meets in the center as I exhale. Inhale, lift away, keeping those heels together. Exhale, bringing it back in. Now we're gonna add the twist. So I'm gonna inhale. As I open, I'm gonna twist, and then exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, open as you twist. Exhale, bring it back in. Now we're gonna add some imagery here. I want you to imagine as you're twisting that you're literally growing 2 inches taller, and then exhale, tightening everything back down. Imagine your spine is a sponge. You wanna wring those abdominals out like a sponge, creating length in that spine. Exhale, contract everything tight into that tight cylinder. Inhale, again, growing taller, finding more length in that spine. Exhale, bringing it back in. One more to the right, and back in. All right, now we just have the one leg left. We're gonna take one of the springs off. Now we're down to just one spring. Feet are gonna come to more of a parallel position, and then extend one leg out. Good, I don't want that thigh to be heavy on the carriage, slightly lifted, so you do feel the top of the leg working, and I'm lifted from that pelvic floor. What I'm looking for is I don't want to see this, right? You wanna be sitting tall on those sits bones. Hands are here. We're gonna inhale, open. Exhale, bring it back in. Again, lifting from that pelvic floor, narrowing that pelvis. Exhale, bringing it back in. This is all that's happening. The work, it's actually for the extended spine, and also it's quite a big challenge to maintain this tall seated posture without dumping like that. So it's more work than it looks to be. Now we're gonna switch feet. We do 10. Inhale, lift away. Exhale, contract that tall cylinder core as you come in. Inhale, lift away. This leg, it's actually shaking a little bit. It's a lot of work to keep it lifted without dumping here like that. One more. Good. So some modifications that you can think about. If someone really struggles from dropping into this kyphosis like this a little bit, you can take your box, or lower dose, or kyphosis, sorry. You can take this box, bring it back here like this. I bring it right in front of the shoulder rest. And it just provides a little bit of a tactile cue. I'm gonna go back, add some springs on. Tactile cue of not to press heavy the back into the box, right? So we don't want to feel my mid-back pressing into the box. It just gives me a little bit of a tactile cue, something that's touching my body, sending signals to my brain of what's going on. It gives me a little bit more feedback with the box than without it. In fact, I teach this in a more contemporary style all the time in my classes too. So if we're going to the round back variation here like this, now I don't need that non-slip pad. So from here, I bring my fingertips, I pull up with my fingertips the bottom of the carriage, and I'm gonna find that giant capital C shape. Now I'm gonna inhale, lift away, maintain the lift as I lower and lift, and then exhale, contract the core as I come back in. Now, if I were pushing into the box, you'd hear the box kind of move around, you'd hear it shift a little bit. So my goal is to not hear too much movement in that box, and I'm doing pretty good right here without creating too much shifting in the box. Then when you come back to the flat back, sometimes people have a hard time reaching those shoulder rests without this box. So this is another good, this kind of opens the arms out a little bit farther so it's not as tight of a stretch in your shoulders. So there's another good reason to have this box right here. So I want to lift up. I don't want to press the back into the box too much. Maintain the lift as I lower and lift, and then exhale, contract that cylinder core as you come back in. So the box provides a lot of feedback. I probably teach this with the box more than I do without the box. You can also load up the springs, add some dumbbells here to get a little bit more an athletic style if you would like, but still you're maintaining this tall posture and it's helping prevent too much of this rounded spine. Okay.